Good morning, East Texas. It's time to rise and shine with the sun. The Grand Saline sun. Right here on BZTV. Grab your coffee and come join the fun.
Well, I would say good morning, but I want to go because right as we went to start, we were just about ready to kick off. Our internet crashed right here at the show. And so this morning we're going to do a pre-recorded version of this, and then we'll release it out as soon as we get done with it. I'm going to skip all the fluff and all the other fancy stuff because by the time y'all get it, it's going to be a couple, 3 hours later, so it's not going to really matter much. So we're going to really jump into our purpose here today, which is our two guests, James Cooley, Miss Edie Booth. They're running for the same position. They'll be on the ballot in November, which is one of the only ones here in Van Zandt County that's Van Zandt County specific, because not many people come out and run against a Republican in these races. And Miss Edie Booth says, hold my beer. I'm going to do it. Let's do this. And so she threw her hat in the ring, and here you are. So now, as we did in the primaries and in the runoffs, we always want to have the round table. We want to have the two people on the ballot, and we want to hear y'all talk. Now, unlike most times, I don't have to really interject a lot because the two of you will sort of keep each other in check and keep the other one from rambling on if there's a disagreement to be had. Generally, I'm here to just sort of be the guardrail, pull people back. So what I want to do, though, is there are some Precinct 2 is the precinct y'all are running for, and y'all have Precinct 2 specific issues that I want y'all to talk about first. Address what you see is your primary issue with Precinct 2 and what you aim to go in and your goals, long-term goals. And basically, I want y'all two to talk amongst yourselves. Like James made a comment. He said, I thought we were just coming here to have a conversation, we do like to keep it, and we like to keep it conversational. That's my interview style. That's how we've really done all of our roundtables and stuff like that. And I'm just like the rest of y'all. I want to hear what the two of y'all got to say. And honestly, I have no skin in the game. I'm not from Precinct 2. So for me to interject and do much of anything is not really relevant in this point. So I want y'all to talk to the Precinct 2 voters to kick this thing off. And let's talk Precinct 2, then we'll work out our ways out to sort of countywide and how things are going there and how y'all would address that. So, Miss Edie, as my mama always told me, ladies first, and I'm sure Mr. James Cooley would not oppose.
I would not.
We're going to let you open this segment up. Introduce yourself to the folks. They may not have saw the first show, so introduce yourself to them. If y'all haven't seen her, go back, watch previous shows. They're all archived. But give us a brief background of who you are and what brings you to the Precinct 2 Commissioner's race.
Well, my both sets of my grandparents came to Van Zandt County at the turn of the 20th century, so I had two of them over at Jamestown, which is north of Van, and two of them at the Wallace community. And from there, multiple, you know how big families had to be back then to pull those cotton tow sacks.
Yes, ma'am.
And they did that, and I had 6 of those uncles in World War II. My dad ended up in civil service tracking fleet movement from the Aleutian Islands, as well as being postmaster and superintendent of schools and everything else that went on among the Aleut Indians. And that was long before my time, but he moved us around all over the United States on Indian reservations and boarding schools and that because he was in the Department of Interior. Got a brother who's a Marine. You're always a Marine. Got 2 sons, went through Canton Independent School District. I've got 2 grandkids going to be in the school district this fall.
Mm-hmm.
High school, Canton High School, and that's my roots are pretty deep here and pretty long term. And what I see is that Van Zandt County is at a very important juncture that we are going to have to take some measures to control things that are going on and be able to maintain our quality of life.
So you've been here your whole life, I guess?
Well,
I mean, outside
actually,
of the moving around.
yeah. What we did until all of my growing up time, I was all over the place. But every summer we would come home, which this was home.
Sure.
So I really got into going out and feeding the cows and doing all the stuff, the happy, fun stuff of farming
Right.
without knowing what else there is involved with it. And I'm living on a family farm.
Yeah.
And my sons expect to continue the family farm. It's going to be hopefully in the family forever, unless somebody pulls right up and builds a data center next door, which...
Do you mind pulling that microphone up to you just a little bit? Thank you. I think I'll be able to hear you better in these headphones that way.
Okay. Is that better?
Yes. Thank you. It kept like breaking up or whatever.
Oh,
So you got a family farm out in the western part of the precinct, right?
Southwest. We're just 5 miles from Canton.
Yeah. You live over by some friends of mine, Chris Hall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know Chris. Chris is great.
Yeah, we did a bunch of work over there right after that tornado.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That was something else.
Yeah. So I guess you've seen this place change in dramatic ways.
Yes and no, because it's still a neighborhood community.
Mm-hmm.
It's still the people who know how to act. It's the people who will, they don't care if I'm a Democrat. They don't, if I call the volunteer fire department,
Yes, ma'am.
they are there lickety split and
That's right.
save us from that grass fire. I'll run across the road and help my neighbor who is not the same party.
Yeah.
It's still a community that way.
Yeah.
But there's not so much change. Yeah, there's change as far as how many people have come into the county, and that's going to continue to increase, and that's what we need to have some guardrails on that.
Yeah, and growth that's organic is good. Growth that's not organic is toxic, in my opinion.
What do you mean by organic?
Organic meaning like that. There's, for instance, my wife and I moved here 15 years ago now with our daughter, and the tornado happened very soon after that. And I know I've used that reference already, but the people who were here were just neighbors, right? They assimilated and they said, hey, these are my people, these are my neighbors, I'm going to help them, like you're talking about. That kind of growth where people are coming in and assimilating and being a part of the culture and a part of the thing that's going on here, that's organic growth. Toxic growth would be coming in and trying to change everything and switch it from what it was, right? Like I would assume that you love the Van Zant County that you knew when you were younger, right?
Yeah, I still love that dirt though.
That's what I mean though. Yeah, I mean, so organic growth can happen. Family farms don't have to shrink.
Right.
That no one is forcing anyone to sell. No one is forcing anyone to do anything that may look like toxic growth.
So
they're doing it of their own volition.
So that might bring us to property rights.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on property rights?
They trump all rights
And that includes
of the government.
That includes, say the guy that leased or sold for Best. Did he lease or sell?
I don't know the man's business. Are you talking about the man that was on the show that?
No, I was thinking about the one that talked at the county courtroom meeting.
Oh, it was probably JP. Is who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah,
right.
Because he
was going to lease his place for the best facility.
Yeah, JP
It was
Fisher.
JP.
Yeah. He's a friend of my family.
And I don't know him any more than just what we talked on that show. That's all I know him.
And so you think he should be able to lease his property without any restrictions?
Yes, ma'am. Well, no, don't, no,
No,
not like
not
that.
without- not
not
without
without
rest-
restrictions.
No, not go that
No.
far, but
And when I say restrictions, is it loving your neighbor, or is and when I say loving your neighbor, I mean, is it safe for your neighbor?
Well, that's the problem. I'm really strong on property rights, but your property rights end right where they infringe on mine and pollute mine and devalue mine. So if you want to have the battery storage, that immediately devalues the property around. You see that?
I can see how it could. Yeah, I could see how it'd be viewed that way. However, I still don't. Just like if I was carrying a gun, right? If I was carrying a gun, if it offends you or you don't like it and you don't like to look at it and you hate it or it scares you or whatever, you can't stop me from doing that. Does that make sense? So like if I want to start a chicken farm, I grew up in Arkansas where Tyson chicken was king and still is, but I was happy to see that I drove by several of those commercial farms on my way home with my wife and daughter when we went to the Caddo River last weekend. And a lot of those commercial farms were shut down. Praise God. Maybe people are starting to raise their own chickens and have their own eggs in their own gardens and not depending on somebody to do it from a factory.
I do too.
I pray that happens. I pray that's the direction that we're going. However, if I wanted to start a chicken farm that stinks, it's ugly, there's trucks running in and out of there, tearing the roads up. However, you can't stop me from doing it.
Yeah, that's a tough question. I really appreciate the commercial chicken farms because that's absolutely the best fertilizer you can put on your property.
I don't disagree. Compost is great. We'll get good 80-20 out of it.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. I use what's called on the golf course. I use a product, it's called Euactinite, and they make another one that's called Milorganite. It's essentially human feces that we use for organic matter. It's a way to reprocess waste, right? We're inventive folks. We're pretty ingenuitive, and I have full faith that no different than there's been an evolution in the quality of product that comes out of a commercial farm for animals and food, right? I know there's a bunch of folks that like to scream and yell about antibiotics and pesticides and insecticides and things like that, and I am one of them. I don't want to ingest those things. However, I believe that there's been great leaps and bounds for the betterment of our neighbors through that effort, right? Like we want to be better. We want to do better. And I have full faith that with what we call green energy, we're not going to stop using data. We are consumers. I have full faith that we will engineer and be ingenuitive and come up with solutions to these problems. Is it now? No, probably not. But nothing ever is. How many light bulbs did Edison make?
Well, so you're not concerned about heavy metals constantly on the golf course. I don't know what kind
of I am.
Repercussions those would have eventually, but it's a factor to consider. And then if you want to go on the data centers, I saw something really interesting yesterday. A guy in Ohio, what we're dealing with right now is a speculation bubble in the economy.
Yes, ma'am.
It doesn't have to do with keeping up with technology. It has to do with billionaire investors.
Yes, ma'am.
Is what's going on.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why we have, what do we have, 400 in Texas, and how many more?
We got closer to 500 with 700 on the books.
That's totally unnecessary.
Which is more
right
than
now.
the entire country of China.
Yeah. So that's
more than the entire country.
All
and
it is
Greg Abbott,
speculation.
I'm looking at this camera,
It's
whichever
billionaire
camera.
speculation.
Greg Abbott said that he was going to stop that. Call a special session and stop it.
He's a rolling politician.
pun intended.
I mean, the reality is that's a state level issue, and he could do something about it if he wanted to, if it wasn't election season. I don't mind saying that as a Republican candidate for Precinct 2 Van Zandt County Commissioner. I don't
Well,
mind saying that.
He invited
could
them
do that.
in and
Oh, yeah.
and set up tax rebates
Yes,
and
ma'am.
all of the things.
Absolutely.
Boy, he
I'm
was
well aware.
gung ho on it.
I'm well
Gung ho
aware.
on it. Get to election season, all of a sudden the wind changes for
Yes,
him,
ma'am.
and he's ready to change his tune. Well, wait till he's elected.
Call a special session and put pen to paper.
That's what I've got a petition here for calling a special session, which is kind of like a flash petition because it just came up like last Friday, and the people are trying to get signatures from every county in Texas.
Oh, really?
254. So I want y'all to sign this. It's calling for a special session to do a moratorium on it so that we can do something about checking into what they're doing and what the long-term effects are going to be.
Hey,
Yes,
Corbin,
and
do me a favor. Get Miss Edie a mic set. She's trying to talk to both of us, and I've scooted that mic over there for that. And I want everybody to be here. So,
I'm not loud enough.
well, no, it's not. It's not that.
It's
these-
that mic is very directional.
these
so
mics
you
are
have to be right
directional.
in front of
Okay.
it.
Yeah, that.
Oh, so
But we'll cut this out.
But we got something right here to solve all that issue. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take those off. We'll get you an all-in-one here.
You're going to look like a fighter pilot here in a minute.
She means
We use
business
these
now.
for football.
I'm in it.
Yes, and we do have people that will be really bad about not talking into their mic, or they're always moving, and so we'll put these on them, and it helps out. Yeah, everybody, Miss Edie is silent, so go ahead and get your punches in now, James, because nobody can hear her now.
I don't have any rocks to throw.
Well, we're gonna cut this anyway, so
I don't. I
Oh
don't
yeah, I forgot we're not even live. Oh, that still burns me. Internet. I don't like technology.
Oh, dude, it is what it is. It's better to record record pre anyway, and then you can do your edits and your cuts and
Yeah.
make sure the audio quality is good and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
It's better to do it this way than it is to do it live, in my opinion.
yeah, and it would be one thing if we were doing this
And nobody has to know that it's not live, right?
Yeah,
there's,
well-
there's a delay in communication.
Well,
For
no.
sure.
Well, when I'm Corbin. Oh yeah. Let's hang it now. Now this mic.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. So I'm gonna still leave this in front. This should pick her up still doing it like that.
I'm all hooked in now, right?
You're all hooked
Hey,
in.
this isn't fair. She's got 3 mics and I only got 2.
Well, you know what? You give her the loudest
I only
trumpet.
have
and I don't need the one I got.
Yeah.
So as moving on with the y'all were talking about the data centers and stuff like that. Now I think that's going to be a Texas issue, and
Yeah.
and until they get it handled up here, sort of like the best. Until they sort of get that handled up top, it's really. I mean, y'all can fight and go to committees and platforms and speak your piece and stuff like that. But until the politicians, and honestly, this is my personal belief, and I will look in the camera and tell y'all this: I believe until we take corporate money out of our politics, it's never going to get solved.
Amen.
Amen to that.
And I'm looking at
There's something we can both agree
Oh,
on,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm looking at some of you finer dressed, long in the tooth politicians
Yes,
up
sir.
there, and if you fit that bill, then just know, I mean, you're already working
It's
uphill.
time to go.
You're already working up a hill battle with me. Now, don't get me wrong.
If Chuck
There-
Schumer does one more strongly worded letter, my head's going to explode.
It's
know-
time for them to go.
I'm as I've said this, and I said it with Keenan on this couch. Keenan and I do not see eye to eye on a whole lot of nothing, but we
Sure.
do see eye to eye on we want what's best for America. And I'll tell you this, one thing I will say about Keenan, and I'm not advocating for the guy, but what I will advocate for is he sits right there on this couch.
Yeah.
And he sits there and he talks to me, and and just like you guys, and I will say the guy that y'all are replacing, always made himself available. Y'all have made yourselves available on this. Matter of fact, we've scheduled and had to reschedule because of certain different issues, but y'all are always available. I believe until our politicians are available,
Amen.
and I mean, and you may not have time to go talk, and I know some of them guys, I ain't got time to go talk to 50,000 people.
that's not true.
Well, you know what?
You're a representative.
There's a format right here.
Yeah.
There's a format right here that
makes you
that
available.
I promise you can get as available as possible. And I'll tell you right now, and I know there's one specific one out there. I'm not going to call him by name because I don't want to be accused of stone throwing, but says he don't like it. I ask a question 19 different ways. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. If you've ever gone for any sort of aptitude test, if you've ever gone for any sort of evaluation or whatever, the answers are not right and wrong. The answers are only right and wrong if you're not telling the truth.
Right.
And so if I ask 19 different ways and I've been accused of trying to trap, you're right, I am trying to trap you because I'm trying to get you to tell me something dishonestly, and I want to catch you in that because I don't want liars in my voting seats.
Yeah.
I don't want you representing me if you're going to be a liar. So if you don't like me asking you a question 15,000 different ways but loose, I tell everybody this: I'm an idiot. If you can explain it to where I can understand it, crystal clear, transparent, then everybody else out there can understand it too.
Well, I want to say this though: we're all liars.
We are, yes.
Every one of us. However, if you're doing something maliciously, if you're taking money from certain corporations to vote a different way on an issue, you don't have the right to represent
Oh, they
me.
would never say that that's what they're
But we
doing.
can look at their campaign donations and
oh,
know that.
definitely, yeah.
Well, yeah,
That's
exactly.
why we have vouchers.
When,
Yes, ma'am.
when you can sit there and you can look and you can see the way a tide flows in the votes, and you can see where the pockets are lined. I mean, Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
look a gift horse in the mouth is what they used to
We're
say.
not represented.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is, we are a country of, for, and by the people, not of, for, and by the corporations.
Right.
And I know they'll argue, the 1% likes to argue, well, we are the people. No, I promise you right now, you and I are not the same. We are not the same kind of people. And-
Listen, I try to be good to folks that are good to me. Don't hear me wrong.
And
on
that's
that.
how it should be.
And all human beings do that. All of them, whether there's money involved or not, they are generally kinder to those who are kind to them. However, that should never come before, like your relationship with somebody should never come before our Constitution and our Bill of Rights and
it.
our God-given unalienable rights.
Well, and your job, period. Your job is to be a representative. That's what you are there for. The meaning of Congress.
That's it.
And yet, if you're up there and you're not representing the populace, that's not, you're not doing your job.
Correct.
You're manipulating the masses. And to me, that puts you, and of course, I've always said this, just like me, as you can ask these people right here, I hold myself to a very high standard when it comes to what I say and what I don't say. Now, I know some of the stupid things that come out of my mouth, you're like, all right. But you know, the information that I pass along, I'm very careful about what we put across our airwaves. Everybody should be that way, especially if you represent the people. If you could take away their freedoms or their liberties, if you juggle their abilities to live their lives to their desires, and you were up there doing it for any other intent than to serve that person that voted you into office, you're a criminal in my mind. That's just all there is to it. I don't care who put money in your campaign. I asked Keenan. He's in a heavily conservative area. He gets up there. It's not going to be so much for Miss Edie. Let's say you get on the panel. You're up there with some Democrat. At this level right here, you're not going to have a whole bunch of people leaning on you. Hey, man, we really need you to do. But you get up there in that level that Keenan's in. You know, you got elected by a bunch of people that were tired of the establishment that's already there. They elect you in, but yet they still have their conservative core values. How are you going to vote with the Democratic Party saying, hey, man, you're a Democrat. Come over here. You're a Democrat. We need you to do this. But your constituents are saying, hey, this is what we believe on this issue. How would you believe? That, to me, tells what a politician's made of. Because if they will vote for the people that voted for them, even though it stands up against party lines, I respect that man.
By the way, when is Bob Hall coming in to talk?
He has yet to return my invitation. Well, I mean, he did return it when we bumped into each other at the governor's
Campaign.
press conference, and he said that he wasn't interested at this moment. He was busy. He, of course, I mean, I've been seeing a lot of his press releases and stuff like that. He's up there, and if the man's literally up there serving the people, I'll tell you this: I don't want him on my show if you're literally up there serving the people.
I think Bob Hall has done a great job to the best of his ability and his understanding. I truthfully do. I respect the man a lot.
Okay.
I really do.
Did he? I have no idea if this is true or not, but are you familiar with the Lone Star Infrastructure
Yes, ma'am.
Protection
Very
Bill?
much.
Did he have anything to do with that?
Yes.
That's what I thought. That's like the only thing I can find.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'll tell you the reason why. Now, I would tell you this: I've got mad respect for Bob for one reason, and like I said, honestly, me and Bob don't agree on a lot. I mean, there's a reason why he won't come on my show because we don't exactly see eye to eye on everything. I think we would see eye to eye on more than we don't, but you know that is what it is. But the reason why I have mad respect for Bob, and the only reason why, is because when we were talking about game rooms. I said I don't want some guy that's going to vote for the lottery and then he's going to come out here and attack game rooms. I want the guy that's going to go after the dadgum state lottery because that's my biggest argument. If we are for and by the people, and we are a government made up,
who is the state?
The people, and so therefore, if we've got a state lottery, we've got a people's lottery. So therefore, why not let a game room? He and I don't. But anyway. I digress.
Well, the position that her and I are running for.
But he did. I want to make my point, so I give Bob his pat on the back.
Yeah, he did.
When I found out that he went after the state lottery and tried to abolish it, I said, okay, that's the guy I want because I don't like hypocrites. You know that. I mean, if you're going to say that I don't like tennis shoes, I better never see you with a pair of Nikes on your feet. You know what I mean?
Well, the position that her and I are running for should nonpartisan.
That's exactly
it. It is nonpartisan. It is
so
nonpartisan.
I don't understand
Virgil was totally nonpartisan.
Yes, and as am I when it comes to this.
There's nothing about any issues that we handle here that will be anything other than serving the people.
That's right. So party politics does not matter to us.
What's good for Van Zandt County?
Right.
No, it doesn't. But it always people. At first, I was offended when people started calling me a dumb rat and all these absurd. You know, that's what social media does.
Well, catchphrases is what our current political deal is catchphrases.
So
it's
I've gotten over that because that says a lot more about the person using those things than it does me. So I'm not worried about that.
Well,
however,
I will let me build off that so we can keep this going. Like you said, this is not a partisan seat that you're going for. Is there any area where Democrat would differ from a Republican in the commissioner seat? We strayed off and went up there at the state level, stuff like that, because we got to talk about BES and that level. But let's bring it back out in here local. Is there anything that your Democratic membership card would make you act differently on the commissioner court than you as a Republican candidate?
I would say yes.
What?
I think that it's an indicator of how we view the world.
So it used to be. I miss the traditional Republican. It used to be, but now small government Republicans have suddenly wanted to get into regulating everything that people do, and that's not right.
No, ma'am, it is not.
Wow, that was a shot, and that was relevant, and that's where I divided from the Republican Party, and everybody knows I'm a guy that's in the middle. I'm a man without a party, but what you said there was, and I laugh. I've been saying it for years about state of Texas. You know, one of the freest states in the union, and yet, well, you can't do that in Texas. You can't do that in Texas. You can't do that in Texas.
There's a whole lot more that you can't do. But I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about we will view things differently because we view the world differently if you truly hold to the tenets of the Democrat Party.
Well, do you know what those are?
I would love to hear your explanation of them.
You're talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Well, okay, stances, right? What's your stance on abortion?
Doesn't have anything to do with Van Zandt County,
I agree,
but I
but
appreciated Katie's comments about it, where I think that women have the brains and ability to make decisions for themselves. I think every person is autonomous. And so
to include the unborn?
You may not like what a woman decides about her body, but that's her decision.
See where I'm going with this? Like we won't view the world the same.
Yeah, you want to use your religion.
No. There's a moral problem there. and we won't view the world the exact same way. That will be the difference. It's nonpartisan. The office that we're running for is nonpartisan.
I get that,
however, we will view the world differently.
That has nothing to do with Van Zandt County.
I say
Yes, it does.
Is there an instance where you can see abortion, the topic of abortion, becoming an issue at the commissioner's level? Okay, so let's try to bring it.
But what I'm getting at is that we will view the world differently.
No.
Therefore, we will lead differently. We will represent differently.
And make that explanation without abortion. Because I mean, I get it. Yeah, y'all too. If a pregnant woman's sitting there, you see a woman, a carrier of life, and she sees another patient going into an abortion clinic. Oh well, let's.
Oh,
where does that?
It's not. Oh well.
Well, I know, but I'm talking about. Well, what I'm talking about is for the purpose of this topic of conversation, I'm talking about where do you see that affecting the way votes are dropped on the Van Zandt County Commissioners Court? I know you see the things in different directions. What is a topic you can see that would affect Van Zandt County specifically that you two might not rule the same way until abortion clinics come into Van Zandt County and the commissioners start saying, hey, we're not going to allow abortion clinics in Van Zandt County? That topic's really not relevant for here.
I'm saying that it is a deep-rooted ideology and psychology that rules the way that you see the rest of the world and the rest of humanity.
Well, so you're saying that I don't have compassion.
No.
And let me tell you about something about
Not that.
things that have happened in Texas to women because of the ban on abortion. They're not able to get health care when they need it. There's been 4 women die because they have not been able to have the DNC or whatever kinds of things they needed to have taken care of a dead fetus. The doctors wouldn't touch it because they're afraid they're going to go to jail. And that's just wrong. That's immoral. That's immoral there.
So there's cases that you're saying that someone was having a miscarriage?
Yes, dead fetuses.
Okay.
There's orphans
They're actually
because
dead.
of that.
They're dead at the moment?
Yes.
They're at the moment of the time that
and
they
they
were
cannot
under
have
care?
any kind of care because the doctor's afraid of it.
That-
Yes, it is a fact.
I would have to study that for myself. I've never heard of that.
I've heard the claim. I've
It's true.
never come across anyone that it's actually ever happened
They
to
send them
or
out,
the testimonial.
say you're not sick enough, your fever's not high enough, sit in the parking lot until you're septic, and then we'll try to take care of the dead fetus. That has happened
Where?
in Texas.
Where?
I think that one was in San Antonio, the original
Where?
one.
What hospital?
Yeah, I would.
I
That's
don't
what I'm saying. I've
I mean,
never
like
studied
I said,
that.
and
And I don't make
Do you
truth.
want me to Google it? You can find.
I mean,
you
gotta-
can find them.
you-
You
Sure.
can find them.
Well, what I'm getting at is, I believe honestly in that situation, I think that's not the full story because I believe beyond that story, there's a malpractice suit that's going on because that was not done.
Yeah,
And-
that's
and-
not
and-
rendering
and
care
like I
and
said,
aid, and I believe that a doctor takes a Hippocratic oath to do
and I believe
that.
what you're talking about. How many instances has this happened?
There's
'Cause if
there's
it's-
4 that I
Okay,
am
okay.
certain of.
Well, I can tell you right now, there's 4 women that have died from getting boob implants, and so therefore we're not gonna sit there and what I'm talking about is
overarching theme
there
here
are
is that
there is
humans are being
malpractice out there.
murdered.
There is malpractice out there. We can't say that the malpractice isn't. And if that doctor's not getting charged with malpractice, losing his license, facing prosecution for putting this woman in that situation, if he's not, and you're telling me that the state law blanketly protects that guy for that action, I don't believe that. I personally can't buy that. I believe that if that guy happens, he's one of the rarity that does the malpractice that on the other side of that action, if it's handled properly and justice is done, this guy never practiced medicine again. He goes to jail. Your 4 instances shows it's not the norm, is what I'm saying. Out of the number of abortions that does go down on a legal basis, we've got 4 of those. So, like I said,
There's other instances where women have ended up sterile because they had to carry the dead fetus too long.
So even if we're going to talk about isolated events as to why the justification.
If it's a mama of a 3-year-old, it doesn't matter if it's an isolated event.
I'm a
But okay, this is where I have to play. This is where I have to play moderator, though.
Good.
And again, and I want to bring up.
Let's talk about Van Zandt County.
I am going to talk about Van Zandt
but-
County. I want to make this point, Bert. If you want to, you can defend it any way that you want to, but there is a moral corruption that is there in any defense of it. There is no defense for the murder of the unborn.
So basically, what you're talking about,
there is a philosophical
He's calling me immoral.
and a psychological foundational belief system that doesn't allow you to make proper decisions.
Okay, and so, where does that play?
Which is
into
why
that?
I say that the Democrat Republican thing. Is there anything that would ever come up Democrat or Republican? Well, everything is gonna. You can divide it. You can cut hairs any way that you want to. But at the root of it, the reason that we are different is issues like this. And there's a departure from morality, there's a departure from humanity.
So
that
basically,
happens at that base.
So what you're saying is, this seat is partisan then, because if you
In a way.
because if you're saying, you said multiple times, this is about a nonpartisan seat, but
Yes.
in your mind, in your philosophy or whatever, if you believe anything on the Democratic Party line, then you're not qualified to sit in that seat.
Not anything. No. But that is the delineation.
But okay,
right?
well,
There-
okay. If
there
you
are
believe in
ways that-
abortion, what other, if you believe in abortion,
Mm-hmm.
so let's say if you follow the party line all the way down to the abortion
Mm-hmm.
bullet point, if you believe the party line all the way down to that, then you don't think that you're fit for morally.
I don't believe
office.
that they're fit for office. No.
Oh, you're calling me immoral.
I'm saying that ideology is immoral. Yes, ma'am.
You're calling me immoral.
I'm saying that ideology is immoral. Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
We thought we was going to have a civil concourse here. Let's go for it.
I mean, if you agree with the taking of the life of the unborn, then
Well-
yes, that is immoral.
Okay,
Let's talk about Van Zandt County. This
we
is
sure can.
ridiculous.
and like okay, and I agree, and so you believe morally. Where do you think the moral defect? Well, first, how about we do this? I want to give Miss Edie a chance to reply to that instead of just rolling over into another topic. Do you want to reply not to let's not say abortion. Let's sort of like they say, let's speak a sentence without the word abortion in
Yes.
it, but address the moral claims that he has said against you.
When the state comes in and does a blanket massive ban on something that is a legitimate part of health care, you're stepping into people's business. You're stepping into individuals' business. It doesn't have to do with morality when it comes down to people taking care of themselves. That's an individual right. And I don't like abortions. It's a terrible thing. I have compassion for the 13-year-old who is gang raped and pregnant. That's a child having a baby can kill the child. You have to turn some kind of individual decisions over to that person and their family. You can't just do a mass blanket ban on things that will hurt individuals. We're not a mass group that can be governed that way. That's not the way to do it. And people have good sense. Women have good sense about it.
Well,
There's even 9-year-olds who have gotten pregnant, if you can believe that. We've got a state full of pedophiles.
To your point, on children being.
Time out. This
Yeah,
is
go
like I
ahead.
said. I'm going to nip I want to give her a wrap up because there's no doubt about where you stand on the issue. I wanted no doubt where she stood on this issue, but to me, this debate can go on forever. But then this is going to turn more into a major media, just basically drama type deal. What the voters want to hear, they're not voting abortion when they go in there and vote for precinct 2 commissioner, and that's now you say morally, and so therefore you can stay in the moral gray area or the moral area if you want to argue that for your side of it. That's fine, but let's leave it from the commissioner's court bar forward right now. Let's move into what is some of the areas that you think Van Zant County right now, in your precinct, is really needing roads? You know, what do you see?
Well, I think that roads are a high priority, and our precinct has the most roads in the county, 330 miles. We also have the best roads in the county, which is because we've had commissioners who have vision. Virgil had vision. He was not spending money throwing oiled sand in holes in front of voters' houses before an election because he was looking to the long run. John Durgan served one commissioner's term because he had the vision to replace bridges that were in constant disrepair. Bridges with wooden pilings that had to be constantly repaired. Now he's got bridges there that they'll be here, they've been here 20, 25 years. They will be here in 50 or 80 or 100 years because he looked forward to doing things right and having things finished once he fixed them. That's what we need for a commissioner. We don't need, I was really mad Saturday. I studied the jail issue, and I remembered in attending a commissioner's meeting 1999 or year 2000 or something like that, where literally one of the commissioners, and I don't remember who, he probably is very thankful for that, said, we're just going to kick it on down the road then. We're going to kick it down the road. Well, we are out of road, and it's because decisions, the hard decisions, have not been made in the past to take care of business where it's a lasting fix. Our jails, we train them. All the time we train them, there's a 3-week period where they shadow someone in the jail, and then there's a 3-week period where they go, I don't know if they go down to Henderson or Tyler, but they do a health, safety, and welfare shadowing for 3 weeks, 12-hour shifts, and all the time that they're doing that, they are paid. They get their certification, gone. That is false economy to keep the salary so low that we can't keep career people. We need and want career people. There's 3 or 4 great people out there who are career people who are hanging on because of their loyalty to the county. But there's another 14 or 15 positions that are constant turnover. That's false economy. We need to look at the long run. And I guarantee you, I will not run for another commissioner's seat after this term. So you're going to get decisions that are based entirely on what the county needs and wants and what will be best for the county in the long run, not getting ready for another election.
What do you say?
Yeah, I would agree with most everything that you just said. That we, as this county progresses, we are in an infrastructure crisis. And that, in my opinion, is one of the most things, infrastructure and water. And I'm so thankful to see that they were talking about this water conservation district that I brought up during my campaign. Like, we need to be talking about that. That is a line of defense, but infrastructure as well is a line of defense for us. There are people who make plan forwards and then see them through. And I believe I've got a track record of doing that. And there are people who don't. And that's what I intend to bring. Is the idea, just like Miss Edie's talking about. You have to set forth a plan forward with your road foreman and your engineer, right? And get plans going. See what they've been doing. I have asked to visit with the current commissioner about this, and it hasn't happened yet. Hopefully it will. What are the plan forwards? What are the things that you guys have been working on and are planning to work on? That's the job of a commissioner. Fixing the infrastructure problems, going to vote like she's talking about with the jail business. Like, what do we do there? How do we find right people, qualified people? How do we build up the force that we have? You know,
So
complicated issues.
So do you have any, like you were talking about, just throwing oil sand in the holes and then moving on? Do you have any plans in your mind or things, projections that you're, once you get into office, that you would like to see implemented that may get you a little bit further for your buck?
I do want to. There's things about water usage that we need to explore further. The data centers are claiming that they're going to use a closed loop. There is not one functioning data center in the country currently using a closed loop. They want to use a closed loop, but it's really expensive to do that. And so I heard an idea yesterday that would be very beneficial for us, and this is what I didn't like about the initial green energy thing coming in, the solar panels that wanted to come in and they were going to plop them up right behind my house on my neighbor, and he ended up not wanting the light pollution for the substation. Thank God for that. So he didn't do it. And the thing about that is that they want to run in here. It's a speculation for them, and they do their thing, and then they leave, and a tornado comes through and throws all that toxic stuff all over everybody, and they'll say, "Oh, that's not our responsibility. That wasn't in the contract. Get your super fund to clean that up." No, we need. Yesterday, I heard a guy in Ohio talking about the data centers, and what he, I believe he was an attorney. What he suggested is a registered bond where the data center comes in and they tell you exactly how many employees they plan to have full time. They multiply that by 10 years. They take the salary equivalent to that 10 years for that number of employees, and they set that money aside as a registered bond that will be there when the speculation bubble collapses. We don't even know if that company's in business in 10 years. But if you required them to do something like that, you've got to have contracts that look forward. You got to have vision to look forward. And that's what we had so well with Cliff. He was an attorney in this field, in land development, and brought all that experience and all that school and expertise and ability to study the issues. And what happened, people? I wasn't even, I was not intending to seriously run for the position. I am running for the position now, seriously.
I mean, and James took a pretty good swipe. So I'm gonna give you here's the boxing glove and I'm gonna say padded bat because we like civil discourse. So
It's all right.
So you're saying that the people made the wrong choice, huh? I'll put it on the table.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do. I never in my wildest imagination thought that people would toss that much experience and that much free attorney use. Never in my wildest dreams.
So
We have a county attorney.
So do you think that basically you'll be going in to continue Cliff's vision? Is that sort of what I'm hearing?
I probably have a lot of the same intentions that he had.
Okay. What say you?
I don't see anything that Cliff is doing that I would not be on board with. I didn't run because I was being frivolous. I ran because I've been talking about doing this for a decade now, and I meant it when I said it. And I knew that Virgil was not going to run during this election, and by the sovereign hand of God, he was taken out of this world. His race was run before his term was up, and I don't disagree that Cliff, and I have said this in every meeting, and I have meant it every single time that I said it, he's competent, he's qualified, he's a good candidate. We have different backgrounds.
Right.
I'm a blue-collar, common-sense man. That's all I've ever done. I've served, and I've been blue-collar, and I know what it takes to work with a crew of men.
And speaking of, you brought that up. One of the things that has come up that's been asked after shows you've been on, I don't think this is exactly relevant for Miss Edie, but I will carry it over to you. Right now, you currently work at Van Zandt County Country Club.
I do.
You oversee the maintenance and the course and all that stuff. Let's say you come out victorious and January 1st you're sworn into office. Are you going to continue work at the golf course and run the
What time is it right now?
1104.
1104. I have not stepped foot on the golf course premises today. And I don't have to.
Right.
Because Tim Thompson is there. Tim Thompson is my right-hand man, and he runs that place the way that we have developed a plan in order to run it. No different than whatever foreman would be underneath me as a county commissioner. We would develop a plan. We would have plan forwards.
And so you believe you could still do both and be
I'm
completely effective?
doing my job right now at the golf course.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, and it's common, men that run for this position, business owners, and then when they take office, they
Correct.
delegate. Most of those guys, I guess, what's different between you and them, most of them are self-employed versus and I guess that falls in the lap of your other employer if they're okay with this arrangement, and if it's fine with them, then why should it bother anybody else, right?
Here I sit.
All right. What about you, Miss Edie? Is there, are you going to be like in the office every single day, and is this going to be your deal, or?
Probably. I do respect our road crew. We've got Daryl Easley and Mike Taylor and James Warrington, Semper Fi.
No, he's got fired. He doesn't work there anymore.
Okay.
Oh, really?
That's true.
Well, he's a good person.
After the runoff election, he was fired.
So we've got really adequate road crew, and they know what they're doing, and I could work with that. I've been at administrative position before, and sometimes it's not the nicest, but it's necessary sometimes. And I do not consider this a part-time job. I don't see how it can be a part-time job. I don't think that, I mean, I can feed my horses after 5, but Virgil was always available at any time. We have had a person keep a full-time job who lasted one term for Precinct 2 commissioner, and you could never find him. You could never talk to him. I don't know. It's not a part-time job. I'm not sure that when you get into it and study what goes on with the county, and we've got $23 million to work with. Corbin, put up our graphic if you can.
They just got through with the budget.
Oh.
Yeah, he said,
Okay, he
yeah.
can. Okay,
but see,
I'm sorry.
we're doing a pre-recording, so what he can do is he'll clip this out and he'll put it up before he publishes it later. So
Okay.
it'll be in there. So go ahead and talk about it,
So
and he'll put it up there.
A quarter of our county budget goes to roads and bridges, and we've got the 10-cent road tax that goes to county roads, which that's been a big contention. I don't know how you feel about somebody in town using county money, county road
I would say that was
money.
not the intention of the road tax.
No, it wasn't. Definitely not.
And I said as
But-
much whenever I went to the meeting that we had at Canton City Hall, where Ernie showed up there saying the same thing, and now Brandon has decided that that's okay in Precinct 4, whatever. But during that meeting, I mean, I said the same thing. The road tax was never meant for the city.
So the county has 107. Do you realize how big of a job this is? There's 175 employees. A good bunch of them are breathing black mold in the courthouse. I mean, we've got issues that need to be taken care of.
Can I ask you what
in a
your stance on the
timely-
courthouse is? What we ought to do there? I'm curious.
I think if we don't get the grant, we're going, and I fully expect that we will get the grant for renovating the courthouse, but I think that we should start chipping away at it one section at a time. We had windows scheduled to be fixed and budgeted $500,000 2 years ago, and that just kind of disappeared, I think, because architects had come out, scanned the whole situation, and we thought $500,000 was enough, but I think when it got down to brass tacks, it was more like 1.2 million or something.
So a floor
too
by
high.
floor renovation.
So bit by bit, windows would have to go, and we should be able to take care of that in the same way that we take care of transferring to the Trade State Boulevard Annex, which is the increase of our tax base by ag land changing to real property. And that, let's see, 3 years ago, that boosted our income by 600,000. 2 years ago, it was 800,000. Last year, we were boosted by 1.2 million. And you know how many more people have come in and transferred ag land to real property that will really give us a good property tax increase this time.
So you're all for like subdivisions coming in and up.
Oh, oh. Well, I'm not real hot on it, but people see what we have here, and a lot of people are doing just like we are, trying to do the best they can for their families, trying to have a good place to live, trying to make a living, to have their kids in good schools. They look at our school and they know how good it is. I know how good it is. I really support the school system. But I think when the subdivisions come in, we've got to be really careful about the statutes, about size and distances, and how the sewage works and how the roads work and how there's entrances and exits. And those subdivision rules, we are both deficient on that. You don't know
Agreed.
those, and neither do I.
Agreed. And it's only 73
Cliff-
pages. It's not that depth.
Right.
It's not that in depth.
So
But I think that they need to be updated. I truthfully do. What if there was a way to incentivize family farmers or long-term farmers or family farms through
we
the
don't need to
reduction
be
of-
incentivized. We're stuck. We're on there. We're rooted.
So I do want, just like I addressed with him at the job, there is one elephant in the room that some may look at the commissioner's position as a man's job. Now, cue the purple-haired feminist out there for me even asking this question, but I'm going to ask it because it's an obvious question out there. For those that may consider the commissioner's job as a man's job, they see the commissioner on heavy equipment, they see him and stuff like that. They may have concerns. What do you say to them about?
Hey, I've got a CDL, and I'll drive any piece of equipment you show me. I love it. I absolutely love it. But I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be handling the shovel any more than you are.
Nope.
But I have a background that shows my stability and reliability in being a teacher, starting first grade up through middle school.
And my alma mater, TDCJ.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting to it because I went from first up through middle school to junior high, and Canton High School I did concurrent with the college courses while I was a full-time professor at Trinity Valley. And the cherry on the cake was working in the Texas prison system. And believe it or not, well, I had the cream of the crop. I mean, there were a lot of, there's a lot of guys who made a lot of bad choices, and they ended up there, and there really is people who can turn it around.
And I will say that, and I have seen, and I will say from firsthand experience, I have seen the opportunities for someone that they want. I've seen the success stories because they pump them throughout prison, and what I call that is prison propaganda. But it's actually positive propaganda because what they do is they pump it in there, HVAC. These guys can come out with it, and they show testimonials of guys that were, some of them down for some of the worst crimes, and they got in there.
Murder.
And I will say this, if you want to meet Jesus, he's in there. He's in there with open arms. So
it brings them.
There are those that are good programs like that, like you said, and I laugh because if you missed the previous show, I was sitting there talking about where I went to college, TJC, and then she said something about, I'm telling your alma mater. I said, oh, you TJC? She said, no, I was TDCJ. It's like, okay. Well, you know what? I will say this. I did learn a whole lot there.
Well, it's a learning experience. That was a really interesting experience.
I tell people I learned
I got tear
oh,
gas.
Oh, rock
So-
on. So we
So you've been doing.
Hold on just a second. Our internet is back up, guys. Our internet has been reset. Corbin says we're back up and online. We're still pre-recording this. He's going to take it and take the whole video, and it'll be online later. But good news, if you're watching on Facebook right now, you can go over to the app. The internet is back up. So thank you, Jesus, for that. Anyway, back to what we were talking about.
So you spent a bunch of time going to prison systems and
Yeah.
and teaching.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it
What-
was. It
what's your
was.
stance on prisons, on jails, on like and it's specifically like our jail?
Our jail, that I wanted to ask you,
Yeah.
last time you had talked with Cliff, you said that budget and roads was your priorities.
Yes.
So and that's why I wanted to look at that budget graphic. There's so little you can do on it
Yeah.
because
There's not a lot of move.
the state does all these mandates, and they're unfunded mandates.
Mhm.
There's not, the jails are set up
Forced
so
compliance.
that
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
my-
that's what I'm
my
getting at.
gosh.
Like
It's-
the state has us like
By the
this.
short and
Yeah,
curlies,
yes,
and it's
yeah,
forced
They do.
compliance.
Exactly.
and that's why-
Unfunded.
Unfunded.
And like I said, and that's why people don't understand my disdain for the government. And I know it's a necessary evil. And I believe that it can be.
It is.
we
I
could
believe
do it
could be
better.
I think say it could be a force
We
for
could
good.
do it better.
Because we have a history of our government being a force for good. It did at one point in time fight for us.
Absolutely.
And I believe we can get back there. But again, it goes back to that being able to sit down with guys like you and sit and have this conversation, even though you are on opposite ends of the couch.
And to this point, and I don't mind saying this at all because I truly believe it. It's a core value of mine. I don't believe that we gain anything by locking people in cages.
No, well, absolute power creates absolute corruption. But on the other side of that, absolute power also produces absolute resentment.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get somebody, I don't care, like my wife, I love that woman to death. But if she were to stand over me and just, work me into the ground, no matter how much I love that woman, eventually you become to resent that person because of the simple fact you got to take a breath. Well, every time you turn around, and I tell everybody, laws are Pandora's boxes. You know,
Yes,
they get cast for a good purpose, but then they're manipulated and abused down the road. And then we are having discussions where we can't get over the impasse because they have us arguing about the shoelaces
Yes.
instead of
Yeah,
the fact that
yeah.
there's shoes on the feet, you know?
Yeah.
And that's, like I said, we do this here for that reason. So as we move forward, okay, we see Paul Michael building. One of the things that was brought up, and one of the things that if either one of y'all get into office, it's going to be looming over the horizon for you guys to address. So the Paul Michael building, it's been said that a bond, we had Mitch Curtis on the other day, and even Mitch said, I don't think that a bond would pass if we were to put a bond before the people right now, which is going to be needed to get the Paul Michael building. From what I gathered from our conversations, the bond will be needed. It will come out before the people.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I see a bond passing, and so that puts us in sort of a predicament. Y'all go in. Do you think you can change the message to where we utilize the Paul Michael building, or do you think, hey, let it die and put it on the market? Where do you think?
I certainly don't want a bond. I wouldn't even entertain that. I think we're taxed to death already, and I think that asking for more money from the people of Van Zandt County is a foolish endeavor.
Well, we have the conversation all the time. It ranges from water to roads. So let's just
Sure.
say infrastructure.
Yeah.
Let's say this infrastructure, if it's not worth putting the investment in, which the courthouse would encompass a lot of county services.
Sure.
If not that, where? Because we
Yeah,
talk
I
about
would-
our
I would have to
infrastructure's
look-
failing, period. So where would we, because we got to get money and put it somewhere into our
Here-
infrastructure.
here's my question, and this was the same question that I posed in commissioner's court with the commissioners whenever they were going back and forth about this added 2% tax in the county, right? What's your plan forward? I have no idea because I've been blocked out to the side. I'm sure that you would say the same thing. Maybe you're not. Maybe you do have information about what their plan forward is. I would say that I've been boxed out. And I have no idea what the intent was when they purchased the Paul Michael building. I have the generalized intent.
Well,
But
do,
are they
do you
selling?
know,
Are they
do you know
selling
the
the
floor
other?
space and how
Yes,
much room
ma'am.
there is?
Are they selling the other annexes? Were they planning to use that money to recoup, or are they planning to put all annexes in one singular spot? It sounds like they might. How again? I don't know what their plan forward was, and I don't know if they had a solid plan forward that was written out, thought about, brainstormed, and then acted upon. I have no idea.
But you're speaking as they, from what's been presented publicly.
Yeah,
What
I've read it all.
what about
seen
you?
It all.
What
Well, I'm certain that the Paul Michael building, the move to the Paul Michael building will only require 40,000 square feet. So that is the part that will have to be built out. It's a 83,000 square foot building, and they can build out 40,000 square feet with the increase in ag to real property.
It's
And
gonna sustain
so that
itself.
it's not, so it can be built out for that.
It's good. So
Now, there probably needs to be a bond eventually for finishing out the courthouse.
Mhm.
And what's your plan for the jail system?
for the
Jails last 30 years, basically. Our jail was built in 1992.
yeah, I-
And I know you don't want to lock people up. What are you going to do with them? Baby
well,
rapers.
baby rapers, I believe, should be killed.
Well, you're not in charge of that. So.
I agree. However, that's a ineptness in our justice system. That is an immoral side of our justice system. There is no justice, and it is immoral not to render direct justice to those who have committed capital crimes. It's an injustice not to do it.
again? I think we may be
So-
straying into an
But
area
as far as
where
the jail is concerned, I don't believe
Yeah.
that we should lock people in cages. However, I would have no access or ability as a county commissioner to affect that. What I would have to do is get in there and see what was the plan from here. Was there a plan at all? Did any, like, instead of this idea that one person is going to have the solution to all these problems, what has the group been working on? The government of this county, what have they been working on to come to a solution for this problem?
and you-
And how can I help?
and you've said this multiple times, and you've said you've heard of nothing and all that. Have you been in communications with Cliff at all?
Rarely, but yes.
And so, are you familiar with what their plan was to move forward?
For what the
Paul Michael building. He says
What are they calling it? The
first
Justice
of all,
Center?
First
No?
of
Is it
all,
the
they
Justice
they
Center?
come together. They come together on dropping the name with all the baggage,
I noticed that.
which
Don't
is
they
the
call it that?
Trades Day Boulevard Annex.
Annex. There
Thank
we
you
go.
very
Trades
much.
Day Boulevard Annex. Okay. All right.
Trades Day, which
I don't wanna get that
think
wrong
is-
again.
I think that is a deal to drop it. We need to move forward,
Sure.
and all of the annexes need to move into it and sell the other annexes.
Is that the
Yes.
plan, though? Was
I-
that the plan that they'd come up with?
I don't know if they have voted on that and settled on that. I don't know.
I've not heard that at all. I've heard it mentioned around that was going to be something that was entertained, but it looks like you'd have had that kind of stuff nailed down, kind of like if you're going to
Well,
ask the people for 2%
If
more on
if you have
on sales tax.
83,000 square feet, that's what makes sense. I mean, you want to be the blue collar make sense guy.
Yes.
That's what makes sense.
So the courthouse is falling apart, needs to be redone, correct?
Has to be redone.
Has
yes.
to be. Why does it have to be redone?
Because it's a historical building. It's on the that's what was going on when
Mhm.
they wanted to kick the can down the road.
Yeah, and no offense, but I don't see that as being important. The historical side of that building being important.
Well, that's not your decision
I
to
understand.
make.
I
You
understand
do-
that.
That's not your.
We-
that's done.
We put ourselves into a bind there.
Yeah, we did.
Do you agree that it's good that it's in a historical society or historical commission?
Doesn't make any difference what I think. It's
Right.
in it.
It's in it, right? So, yeah. What was the plan forward? What was the plan forward when they purchased? I mean, I realize it's probably a good deal on some property. I get that, right? But you're using somebody else's money to buy property. So was there a laid out plan forward? No different than what I said
It-
about the 2% tax. If there's not a plan forward for it, no one's going to vote for that. If you
Right.
can't tell people what you're going to do with the money, if you can't be accountable, you didn't make a plan, you just shot from the hip, no one's going to trust you.
Well, do you think that the messaging has gone too far to the negative to sway the public back? Because I mean,
No, I don't think
you
so.
You say Paul Michael building. I mean, even if you say the Trades Day Annex, people still
Yeah.
like that
Right.
there. Do you think there's a means and method for you guys to go in there and change the?
There's going to be a stigma attached to anything that has gone on over the last 2 years.
There is a stigma attached to anything in this county that has a dollar sign connected to it, and there always has been. There are people who are against everything.
Oh, I
No
agree.
matter-
I agree.
About 20% of them, I think.
I agree.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what it is. They're going to be against it. And I think probably the plan with the commissioners was that they're going to get with their people and their constituents in their precinct and explain to them how it will work and what will go on with it. My question about it is that right now they're talking about each commissioner, and I don't think they have it nailed down, but they're talking about having each commissioner pick out 5 board members who will decide what happens to that. What is it, approximately, how much money was it?
The 2%?
Yeah.
I,
It's
they threw
4
figure-
million,
they
I
threw
think.
figures around,
So,
yeah.
so they're around
Yeah.
a
There's some-
million each precinct.
Right.
So that would be 5 board members. That gives me the willies when I hear them talk like that, because it's a accountability thing to me, that a commissioner won't be on that board and won't be having any input on what that board picks. Yet they're going to pick out the 5 people
Yeah.
who are going to be in the firing range.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. So I think
I don't like that. It's political.
it's a loss of accountability.
Yes,
you're
it's
shifting focus and accountability.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Just
So I
come
think
out
a
and say what you want to do with the
commissioner-
money.
I think a commissioner
Just
should
come out
be
and say it.
there, and a commissioner should be on their board, and 2 citizens, something like that. You got 5 citizens without any commissioners, 5 in
Right.
each precinct. You got 20 people
unelected.
deciding what happens. What? I mean, that's
unelected, they're appointed.
yeah.
And it shifts the
Yeah,
focus and
yeah,
the
yeah.
responsibility off of the commissioner onto these
Yeah.
5 individuals that they appoint. And when the reality is, you're calling taxation revenue, you're saying we're bringing in new revenue, $4 million of new that's $4 million of taxes. That's taxation. Don't call it revenue. But you're not willing to say what you're going to do with it, what you intend to do with it.
They don't know what's going.
Well, then you don't need it.
Oh, you don't think we need money
You
in our?
don't need it if you
think
can't
we need a
allot
source
for
of
it.
money in our
If you-
district?
If you can't allot for it, you don't need it.
Oh dear.
That's what I do with my budget at work.
That's what Ernie was doing, going around looking for sources of money. We need sources of money. We don't have enough money in the county
What are we gonna do with
get the roads up to the level they need to be.
Okay, so roads. We're gonna
our
put roads
source-
on there.
Our source of money could be the CAD, so that
Okay.
you've got 2% sales tax.
Right.
And
County
it
Assistance
could
District.
be, it could be 1 cent of the fuel tax that the state is possibly.
That's a great idea. Whoever came up with that
So
one.
there's
about
sources of money.
trying to
we need
source that.
sources of money for this county. It's a poor county. We need all the help we can get. And Ernie going around looking for sources of money for roads in his town. I
mean,
love the
there-
guy.
When my
I mean,
when my wife and I make our monthly budget, and my wife does the bulk of that work, I praise her. I'm thankful that God gave me a great wife. When she does that work, and we come together, there's an allocation for the money. How much money are we bringing in? How much money do we have? Are we trying to get new money? What is it for? Right?
well, this is big business where you don't know how much money you have.
Then you mean it's
you
it's
don't
taxation,
know-
and you
you-
can't figure it.
You don't know how much money you have until you turn in your request for the budget, because they don't actually have it figured out in the tax assessor's office until after the
I'm
budget
not talking
is
about
due.
dollars and cents. I'm not talking about pennies. I'm talking about percentages. And that's what I said in that commissioner court meeting, and you were sitting there as well. You're going to have to allot for percentages. And I think going forward in government, that's just the way it's going to have to be. That if you're going to represent your constituents and you're going to tell them, okay, I'm going to do that, you need to tell them, okay, well, this much of our taxes has got to go to here. This much of our taxes really need to go to here, instead of this waste and loose money hanging around, because the idea is we can't tell you the actual amount until it comes in. You got to pass it to see what's in the bill.
And so, what do you think the solution to this is?
Give percentages. If I want to tax you more, I need to tell you how much percent of that money that is going to come in what it's going to go to.
That's probably not a bad idea.
And so, as you move forward, you would be able to pretty much relegate this across the board.
It'd be done.
Yeah.
It's not about how, this loose budget where it's flowing and it's moving here. No, 25% of that goes here, 8% of that goes here, 12% goes here, right? Make percentage points. These are the things that we are mandated by the state and by the federal government, by our Constitution and our state constitution. We are mandated to provide these services. How much money is going to those services?
Well,
it's a done deal.
But like to her point, though, we need revenue sources. We need something pumping into that. You take percentage points all you want to. If you don't
There's
have
not enough money.
if there's not enough to go by by the end of the check,
There's not enough money for all the things that I want in my home either.
I know.
Well,
but,
there's some critical issues
but
that have to be
you may
handled.
not be able to get that 2-for-1 deal at Brookshire's on the T-bone steaks. You might have to go to the thin flanks.
No, we've got the number.
You can
Thank
do
you
that.
card.
But when we start looking at certain things, okay, go over to precinct 3. I mean, you drive down
Sure.
the roads down there, and some of them holes have gotten to the point to where the roads should be closed. I
Sure.
mean,
I agree.
a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you right now, if you've married a woman in precinct 3, I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you, because I get passed by them every single day. And I say woman because, I mean, that's who passes me. They are headed to town to do whatever they got to do, and they doing 60 miles an hour on them precinct 3. Duke's a hazard over them, which I don't know. They may have to know the secret. Maybe if you go faster, you don't feel the bumps as bad. But, when you run out of budget, but there's still things at the end of the deal, and we're not talking about luxury items. We're talking about.
But when you're out of
things.
money, you're out of money. You're saying, I'm going to put this. I don't know what the number is. I don't know what the dollar amount is, but I'm putting this percentage in this category.
But where I'm
and
trying
when
to
it's
say,
gone, it's gone.
But like what she sort of speaking to that fact. Okay, I've been self-employed pretty much my whole life, and I chose newspaper, and I did not aim for the fence by any means.
Right.
I was bunting in careers.
Yeah.
So therefore, there have been many a times where we had to have vehicles, we had to have food, we had to have electricity and light, and then we sit there and look at it and bam, hey, I still need $500-$600 at the end of the month.
Sure.
I go out and mow some yards. I can budget the best I can, but at the end of the month, I've got certain bills that I've already entered into
Have to pay.
obligations. Let's say my roof has now got a leak, and I've got to go fix that.
We have historical data for that.
Exactly. So therefore, the added revenue is what we're, you got the percentages down. Okay, we know that. Now we need to up the purse so that way those percentages take care of the business. Right now, if those percentages don't take 100% of the burden, then
Sure.
we've still got to figure out how to fill that gap, bridge that gap. I think that's what you're trying to say, right, Miss Edie?
Well, I one of a corollary to that is that I don't think, James, you're appreciating the complexity and the fluid movement of this, because this is a whole big deal. It's not one small business.
But I'm talking about a new tax.
And you have how many mentally ill people are we going to have to take care of that is mandated? How many deaths are going to occur in the jail? There's things that are unpredictable, human things that are unpredictable, that percentages are not going to quite cover unless you're going to have a pretty huge contingency fee that will take care of some of those things when the state mandates it. But you can't predict all of that. I don't care how much history you have. This is a live critter that we're running here in Van Zandt County, and we have to be able to there's no loosey-goosey flow of money. They're paying attention to it all the time. I've got complete 100% confidence that there's not any money getting lost
And
somewhere.
also to a point, a lot of our monies come from grants, and some of those grants you have to match. You have to put money to it before you get it. Again, if you've percentaged out your whole parcel and you don't have enough for the 100%, so you need those extra revenues even for grant money. I mean, you come across some that are 100%, but most of them that they're bringing you, you got. And when we talk government grants, they don't ask for $5-10 earnest money. They want $200,000-$300,000 if you're
$10
looking
million.
exactly. If you're looking at a $100 million grant, and for a county, that's really not a lot of money, But hey, we want $10 million up front, and you don't have that revenue coming in to where you can even grab that grant, although it may be great for the whole county. So, and this is where I play devil's advocate. I don't know if y'all noticed, I'm like a little kitty cat sitting there doing this right here, playing with you guys. So there is a couple streams of revenue that have come around the county that everybody seems to say, hell no, y'all have to go. We have best facilities and data centers that if we said, hey, brother, come on in here. And we've got certain areas of the county that are fairly vacant. And so I'm sure some of these guys would be like, hey, if we gave them, let's show, okay, over in this area, we could use that revenue. It's not being used for much now. It's being abandoned, whatever. It's unsightly growth. I'm just saying, people like John Paul Fisher that say, hey, I want this in my property and stuff like that.
It's his property.
These are added revenue streams that can bring in, and they don't suck resources. They don't buy gas.
But
they
it's
don't
not
buy groceries.
it's not the government's job to say yes, let's do that, or no, let's not do that, so that we can get more money. The government's job is to stay out of it, and then bring in whatever taxes come to that.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying so much invite to the point of tax abatements and stuff like that. But I'm talking about not fighting it so much. Like when J.P. Fisher comes in and says, I want to put one in here, say, hey, J.P., let us work together so this looks positive on not only you, but it works positively for the county.
Right.
So if there is...
I don't believe in using your government seat to weaponize against citizens, right? You don't get to weaponize paperwork and people.
Bureaucracy.
It's bureaucracy. You don't get to use that as a weapon in order to stop the citizens from doing things that aren't hurting anyone.
Can I go back a second to,
yes, ma'am.
to
We've got a DeLorean right over here, just hit 88 miles per hour.
complexity of the system. In the jail system, it's not like they have one pot of it. We're not going to give them a percentage of money. They are required. They have certain requirements to meet for the source of.
Are we meeting it with the budget that we have right now?
Different pots of money. So there are restrictions on the source of different. Am I off?
Well, I had the other mics on it, and so they're no longer being in use. So I want to get.
Are we meeting those requirements with the budget that we currently have?
There are requirements that they have to meet.
Are we meeting them currently?
Well, let's see. They didn't pass their certification this last
That's
time.
because people didn't go take the test.
I think so.
Right.
That's on the individual.
It's a very small.
That's on the individual.
Sheriff Bridger.
That had nothing to do with money.
It. Yeah, Sheriff Bridger addressed that
on
Friday's show.
You asked me if we were meeting everything.
Are we meeting our requirements based on the budget that we have currently?
I'm sure they are, because
the answer
they have
is yes.
to.
They're under constriction and they're meeting them. We're talking about adding a new tax. So we're already meeting. So that argument falls flat with me.
We're not adding a new tax.
If
You're
you
talking about
want to
CAD?
do the 2%.
You're talking about CAD?
No. I'm talking about the 2% tax in the
That's
county.
That's a CAD.
Yeah, county assistance district. So if we're adding, right? If we're adding,
we're not adding it. It's already being paid by probably half of the unincorporated area. It's paying into the state.
Correct.
And I think we need to go ahead and make certain that all of our big businesses that are in the unincorporated areas are either doing 6.5% or 8.5%, which it's kind of weird to go ahead putting it on the ballot when we don't know for certain these people who are going to be contributing it, whether they're for that or not.
And who
I know they've done a survey with several of the large businesses, and most of them were already charging 8.5%. So that
because they want to be left alone.
That 2%.
They want to make sure that they're paying enough taxes. They want to be left alone.
goes to the state and disappears into the state general fund, and the state's sitting on a heck of a lot of money that they don't let go to us and they don't let go to the school systems, which that's a whole
So if we're
nother-
meeting the
whole nother topic.
if we're meeting the budget constraints and requirements based on our current budget, any new money that comes here, what are we going to do with it?
Well, I think we should probably try to get career people in the sheriff's department, because that's much better. It's false economy to train everybody up, pay them the whole time you're training them, and then they go out to a different county because they get paid better.
Okay, the reason that people don't like to do percentages on this, and I've found this to be true, is because it's polarizing. You have to choose where you're going to send money. Right? We have a budget, we have constraints, and we have restrictions, and we have things that are mandated to be done, right? But if you're going to take on new money, it's polarizing to say, I want this much money to go to this department. I want this much money to go to this service.
I don't know if it is if you're talking about the commissioners, because they don't have a vested interest in the mental health system. They don't have a vested interest in the juvenile care. You know, they don't have a vested interest in the jail system. So I don't know who's polarized.
It's-
Commissioners? I mean, who are you talking about?
I mean, that was even said in Commissioner's Court whenever I said that. Because some
who
people,
are they
some-
talking about?
the constituents, some people are not going to like it if you sent this much money here and this much money there. They're not going to like it. They're going to be mad because we did, and Brandon Martin said this. They're going to be mad. You just got to trust us. I can't say it's going to go here. I can't say it's going to go there. You just got to trust us. Well,
On the CAD.
I'm sorry. You've already got a budget. Everything's already allocated that we have to have right now, right? We were making it on the money that we have right now. Here comes some new money. What are we going to do with it?
Well, they talked seriously about using it on roads and emergency service.
Right.
Fire
And I agree. Fire departments.
Yeah.
There's,
yeah.
you know,
we have to change that. We have to.
Do you know how many fire departments there are in Van Zandt County?
Was it 11?
13. Yeah. And of those, the majority of them are volunteer.
I know.
All.
And bless their hearts.
When I say the majority,
couldn't.
Well, I think Canton, it's
Canton.
yeah,
You're
Canton
right.
and South Van Zandt, if I'm not mistaken.
South Van Zandt has an
paid
ESD.
tier.
South Van Zandt came in and
Grant Saline's got paid staffing, but it's still
right.
it's like 2 people on staff, so there's always somebody there.
And this is
then-
not something that I'm a subject matter expert in, but I do know this. We probably ought to think about giving the folks who volunteer their time to serve us and take care of our places when they catch on fire, control things, control burns, help people on the roads. We should probably think about funding that a little bit more than what we do.
I'll tell you this, and I'm a part of Grand Saline Fire
Because they get
Department.
$0 right now.
I'm a part of Grand Saline Fire Department, and if you go look at the quality of our department and the morale, the equipment that we have there, the fact that we have such a great ESD over there, ESD 2 in Van Zandt County, we've got them. We are blessed beyond all measure, and it's really disheartening when we're on a fire. We do mutual aid, and you'll be on mutual aid with another department, and they come up and their equipment is old. It's been, used. And we're talking about not just the truck pulling up itself, but I'm talking about when they get out and throw their bunker gear on.
Yeah.
They're throwing that oxygen on their back, and they're about to go into the build, and their lives depend upon something that, like I said, you look at it, and it's like, wow, you get.
Be easy to put a percentage point on that, wouldn't it?
19,
And again, so back to the percentage point. So when you do you look at, okay, I've got my budget laid out by percentage points. Do you say, okay, now for that revenue stream, we need to add 13, 14, 15% every quarter from this point? So you start throwing percentages. Do you throw projected percentages out there to meet?
No, if there's a overage, right? Like you put percentages towards it, and then that's allocated to this. Well, it didn't need that much. What do you do with that? Invest it.
What say you, Miss Edie?
I don't know. Percentages, it's the way it works, they set up their budget and they put in what they want, and then it
Which
passes.
is basically,
or not.
if I'm not
That's-
mistaken, it's pretty much a percentage system now, isn't
It is.
That
It
they,
is.
They
pretty
say
much.
we put.
So why can't we do that with new money coming in?
Well, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, wouldn't it fall under the same status quo where it would be percentaged out and doled out and parceled out into each budget line item?
I don't know how they're going to do it. They need to clarify.
That
how,
needs to be
how they're gonna
clarified.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't know how they're going to
Because
do
you're
it.
never, they've
And
they've
it's
only
the-
got, they've
the-
got less than a month to get this thing ready to be on the
I
ballot.
really want them to do it, but the administration of it is not clear.
Right, especially
not clear.
especially if you had, and I want it to pass. I believe
Yeah,
that
I do
we
too.
need this to happen.
I do too.
And if it does
It's-
get on the
it's-
ballot, I would vote in favor of it.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
that to be completely clear.
yeah.
However, the application needs to be clear just as much as the retention of the money.
Okay, well, I'm about to throw another hot one out there because
good.
we've been rocking along about pretty close to an hour and 45 minutes here, about an hour and a half maybe. So I want to get this topic in here because it's a hot one, property taxes. That's a big issue right now. And again, there's only so much you can do at the commissioner's level, but there is certain things that you can do to help the citizens' burden, and it works in counterbalance with the CAD and all that. What is y'all's stance on property taxes, and how would you, on the commissioner's court, work towards a certain end that has to do with property taxes?
I think it's a little disingenuous to say that you've taken the property taxes down, because every year you can look at how Commissioner's Court doesn't have a lot of influence on that, but they can change it a little bit because it's done by the state, and it's the assessor's office.
And then there's a certain side that y'all can do that
A little bit.
little percentage that can bring it down to make
Yeah,
sure that's how
yeah.
they talk about we brought your property tax
Right.
down.
Every
yeah.
year
No-
they
no
every
tax
year they've done
increases.
that.
Yeah.
No tax
However,
increases.
the assessment
but it's
went
the
up.
Exactly.
assessment.
So you
It's the
paid less
assessment.
taxes, but
you
No.
pay more.
You paid
and
less percentage, but you
Yes.
paid
You-
more dollars.
The,
Exactly.
The
Right.
assessing.
It's
the
and
assessing.
that's why
thing.
inflation is BS. And it's not inflation; it's printing, right?
I'm living in a
It's
$90,000
devaluation.
house that I paid $7,000 for in
right.
1975.
It's devaluation of the dollar. There is no inflation. This property that we're sitting in, Miss Edie's property, is not worth any more money than it ever has been. It's just been devalued by the state of our currency,
my daddy, the house that I'm living
which
in
is a
right
federal level issue.
the house
Yeah,
I'm
it's
living in right
federal.
now, my daddy built in '79, and he paid around $30,000, I think it was, for it, and now it values in the six
Yeah.
digits, and it's like nothing has happened to this house
Right.
Except for the
age.
devaluation
well,
of the
he-
dollar.
Here's what it is. We're being taxed on unrealized gains. All those big boys, the billionaires, don't get taxed on their unrealized gains in the stock market and in their investments. But we're taxed every year on an unrealized gain. None of us intends to sell the home that we're living in,
No.
but the value of it went up. So it's a very aggravating topic, and I don't want to hear Abbott say one more word about cutting off all property taxes until he comes up with the solution for funding the schools. I mean, he talks every time he comes up for election. He talks about changing property taxes. Now he's talking about completely removing property taxes, but he has no solution for funding the schools. And I think there's a sub context going on here where he doesn't even want public schools.
Well-
and that's such a basic, important part of our communities.
Well, depends on which side of the line. I mean,
As far as taxes are concerned, can I speak to the
Yeah,
question,
go
the
for it,
original
please. Yeah.
question? Right.
Yeah.
We don't have much ability to affect the taxes, right? Like we're
Not in the
we're
county.
mandated
No.
to collect tax.
Yeah.
That being said, I still believe that all taxation is theft, all of it, because we ought to be only taxing, in my opinion, corporations. We ought to only tax things that are done for corporate gain.
Are you a Republican?
Yes, ma'am, I am. I
I
believe
thought
in
you were independent.
I believe in conservative values. Yes, like so as a property, I'm a constitutional conservative. As a property owner, I should not just be taxed because I own property. I don't owe the government anything after I purchase something. It's mine. I'm not using it for commercial use, therefore I shouldn't be taxed on it. They are doing things on a gain system, just as you mentioned. They're seeing realized gain on commercial property. The private citizen is not. I believe that we should bring back tax abatements, or you can call them whatever you want, subsidies for farmers, local farmers. And when I say subsidy, what I mean is
Man, you're a Democrat.
no, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm an American. I'm an American. And I truly believe that farmers shouldn't have to pay taxes. If you've been running a farm, like if it's a local farm, I'm not talking about commercial farms like these great big monstrous things, but the people that I go buy my vegetables from at the farmer's market, why are they paying taxes? They're doing something that's helping the community. It's local food. It's good food. It's good for you. Those people that were out there, I'm not going to mention names, but they're growing beef, and they've got a beef operation that's local, and it's helping the local businesses.
Well, now I'll say this. Some might argue that because we're an agriculture community, that it's been said because a lot of our population is, number one, in the golden years of their life, and they're getting discounts, and their property taxes are capped. We're an agriculture community, so therefore a lot of agriculture taxes are reduced down because of agri-use and stuff like that. They already say that's why we are struggling as a county, because we give these reliefs to these people.
Absolutely.
If you were to take complete tax burden off of the small family farming, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm all for. I learned everything I've learned and every value in life.
There has to be a definition.
But people are, the argument is against. Okay, well, you got a man that's got 200 acres out there, and he pays less than I do for a 1,500 square foot home in town on taxes because he's got ag exemptions and stuff like that. And they say that's why we don't have the extra money to pave Precinct 3 roads, and that's one of the arguments I've heard. And don't come hating on me or spitting in my cow over there, farmers. I just
wish that governments
but how would we?
I'm fixing to get you.
but seriously, they already point to that as one of our reasons why we face a deficit all the time. And you're talking about removing that tax input completely because they serve a valued purpose. I agree 100%. What would you say to the person that says, "Well, hey, that's just asking us to go further in the hole"?
So I wish that governments would do. Had more of a fundraising mentality, right? They had a plan forward. Hey, we need to build this road. It's
well, they
do,
cost, but it benefits the individual politician. Right?
It's going to cost this much money to fix this. Well, how do you know it's going to cost that much? Well, because we did our research and we took bids and we, made a plan forward. And this is how much money we need, folks.
You know what?
It sounds like a bond. I know we have to have special elections and all that. But the reality is, like, the taxation that we have, I feel like should only come from corporations.
This is one of the things that I've always thought
for-profit stuff.
We should do is we should offer a tax abatement to companies that do certain services, and that way, instead of going out to the highest bidder, I mean, I've worked in construction most of my adult life, and I know that a guy that goes out and does a job for a feller over here on a market road, he charges one price. If he goes and does a government contract, well, he's marking it up. What if these guys, instead of getting and competing for a price,
right,
we get them to come in and they get tax abatements on the backside of it. It's a community service type deal. You've got the ability and you get some sort of reward on the other side, and it's a paid fee. So everybody that comes in is going to get the same money. But you got to prove your quality, and you get the abatement on the backside. But no longer are we competitive bidding. Now we have something that these guys are doing it for the betterment of the county, and they're getting benefit on the backside. And that keeps you from one guy making a living out of it. He can't do that because you're not making that super big markup money you would have before on a government contract. Now you're doing it for this.
That's an interesting.
That's an interesting take.
And
I think all ideas are good ideas. You just got to wash them down.
One of the things that brought this up was when I worked for the city of Grand Saline as one of those part-time jobs I told you when my budget didn't match and I had to go pick up a job. We had a big issue with tree trimmers up there, and we had a dump, and we had it burning all the time, and these guys were running in and out, and they were dumping their brush there. We weren't charging them anything like that. It was cleaning up and all that stuff. Well, it eventually got to where it was being abused because it was such an open gate policy that guys were going out there making $10,000 on a job, bringing $10,000 worth of cut limbs and refuse back over here, dumping it in our deal.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, what if you had to get on a list? And for every 3 dumps that you did, you had to make one round through town and grab all the stuff off the curb so you wouldn't take an 8-man crew off of a job over here and do this. And that way you now don't open it up for ever Tom, Dick, and Harry that has a job in this town. You've got your guys that you allow to do it. They're the local guys, and they help you out as they do this by bringing it up here, and they have access to this pile. To me,
Yeah.
that's the kind of logic that we need to
That's
look at.
community.
Are you trying to do this to me, Katie? Or are you telling me? Okay, I thought she was doing like made you look.
No, I was messing with my nails.
California did the same thing with composting, right? Like no different. Like you can just bring your stuff, and they actually would prefer that you fill your compost barrel up over your trash barrel.
Right.
Right. There's plenty of examples of that, and that's a fantastic idea. Engage the community. So with as far as roads and bridges and taxation and all that stuff, I understand that it's mandated by the state. It's like we're bound to that. We have to provide that, because if we have to provide it, then we have to levy tax.
Well, and I look at it this way: where does 90% of that waste that we talk about go to? It goes to government contracts.
Government contracts.
And it's
Pentagon. Pentagon cannot pass an audit to save their life.
They never have.
Never have.
And
Never
that's
have.
what I'm getting at
But-
with this percentage thing. Like
Yeah.
we're talking about asking people for more money. Are you out of your mind?
right.
You better tell them where it's going.
So
We have a history of not allocating funds correctly in all forms of government,
all the way up to the top.
all the way to the top.
Well, and I've
And,
always
and don't think that you're not
and-
susceptible to the same corruption, because you are.
And I tell everybody here at VZTV, we got a purple thumb, and we're trying to plant a new batch of politicians to grow up and go up there and represent us correctly. And so right here in the VZTV garden, you know, we want to bring.
It's going to be Katie unless she's too bored.
But like I tell everybody, I say we're not blue, we're not red, we're purple. We got a purple thumb. We're trying to raise up some independence here, because I believe that until we quit fighting the other party, we're never going to come to an agreement on how this country should be run.
I'm an American, and I'm a Christian first.
And that's you know, I like I told Miss Edie, until we reach the point where a jury of our peers is a jury of Americans,
Sure.
then that right there, that's how it should be. That's how we should look at our fellow neighbor, our fellow community leader. And honestly, when I turn on TV, I should be able to see a man in a suit up there, or a man in a wheelchair, or a man anywhere else up there in any other condition, and say, that man's my representative. I see a fellow human, a fellow American there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't look at them in that familiarity when I watch them on the news.
Because we've been playing identity politics since
Exactly.
before I was born.
Well, since before I was born. So anyway, we are down right at the noon hour. I was about to say midnight hour. The noon hour. So I'm going to give y'all a chance to one last plug and all that stuff. Of course, y'all are going to be back on the show. We've already talked about this.
Yeah.
We got a lot of time between now and November.
Sure.
I want you two guys coming in here, because when it comes time to cast that vote, I don't want no doubts at all. I mean, I want everybody to know y'all just like they know you. I want y'all to experience what I experienced. Just like yesterday, I walked into the bearded barber. If you look at my beautiful haircut, Jesse over at the bearded barber gave me a haircut.
It'll grow back.
And a guy said over there, he goes, is that the guy from Grant's Son VZTV? I recognize that voice. I want y'all so familiar with everybody. You feel like a celebrity when you walk through the grocery store and stuff like that. But one last plug. Let's keep it pretty brief, to the point. I think we talked enough about the other stuff. Let's talk about ourselves now. Let people know what you pitch, how they can get to you, to talk to you a little bit more, find out a little bit more what you believe. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to let you – I'm not jumping past the ladies first. I'm going to let the prettiest wrap us up in the end. So we're going to end with Miss Edie this time. And so we'll just have a Miss Edie Booth sandwich on our show. She started, she'll end it. Go ahead before she bookends this broadcast, James.
Yeah, James Cooley. I'm running for Precinct 2 County Commissioner. I have considered this running for the last decade. I stand on principle. I stand on constitutional conservative values, and I mean it when I say that. I love you, Miss Edie. We met not long ago. If chosen, I will be your representative, and I expect for you to beat me up. I'm easy to find. I'm either at the golf course or around town somewhere, you can find me. I don't get outside of Canton
Or
too
pop it
often.
up, or pop it up on the VZTV
You
set
can find-
unannounced.
Or I'll just pop up here.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Just unannounced, just pop up here.
I am about town. You can find me. There's a lot of people around here that I've given my personal cell phone number to, just so we can have those conversations. And once this is all, the dust is settled, I will be much, much, much more available. I've already said that the social media and the media campaign is the best way to get out to where people can hear you and know who you are inside and out. They get to see your spirit and hear your thoughts and your convictions. So I will be doing a lot more media probably after November, but until then, VZTV is the easiest way to hear me be asked questions. And if you have questions, send them to BERT, please.
Yes, most definitely.
Seriously, let's work on things together. I'm much more interested in listening to people who know what they're talking about and have been down some roads. I don't think that I'm the guy who's got it all figured out. I don't believe that I have all of the right answers, but I'm willing to work with people who have great ideas. So
Awesome. Thank you, James, and thank you for being here today.
Yeah.
Miss Edie, take us out.
Well, I going back to being a Democrat, I want to tell people that there's a lot of difference in Democrats, and I am an East Texas Democrat, which is a fiscally conservative. If you see me anytime, I would do the kind of work that I do with myself. I drive a 2007 car. There's nothing frivolous about it, and I would have 100% of my time for this job. I'm a serious contender for this job, and I know how to study. I know how to evaluate. I know how to assess problems. I know how to come up with a variety of options on solutions, and I know how to make decisions. In large project kind of things, there's a couple of things I've done that I haven't talked about at all. My husband and I decided as landlubbers that we would learn how to sail and cruise the ocean, which is it's a mighty big thing. And we studied navigation, and we found the appropriate boat, and we sailed in the Pacific for 14 months. And I guarantee you, if you want a humbling experience and know just how big you are in the whole scheme of things, that'll teach you.
I can imagine. Goodness gracious, that sounds crazy.
So I have vision. I have long-term projects. My family started Texas Endurance Riders, which is a major big deal now. It's a national sport, and that involved, we did a 10-year business plan and worked with the U.S. Forest Service, which is a pretty good trick sometimes, and went out there and physically made trails, 25-mile trails, and there's horse races running still on the same trails we made. And we completed our 10-year business plan in 8 years, part of which was to have other people putting on rides rather than us. So when you have a 200-horse event, it's a big deal being able to manage the business end of it and the fluidity of it. And I think you have to be able to understand that there's a lot of moving parts to Van Zandt County.
So how would they get in touch with you so they can learn more about you, or if they want to ask you some questions?
I have a website, and it's a complicated name of it. I'm going to have to give it to you later because I can't even. I've got it where it'll pop up.
Well, what Corbin will do is he'll write it down, and then we'll put it up on the final broadcast here, because we did come in, for you guys that came in late. The internet crashed on us, so we had to start with pre-recording this thing. Corbin worked over there, frantically. He finally got it up, so he'll be able to do some edits to it, and then we'll put it up there, so you get it from him.
So I'll be available anytime anybody wants to talk to me.
Well, and of course, I want to say this, guys. Let's definitely do this again.
Yeah.
So we'll start setting it up. Yeah. Corbin, let's go ahead, since we are live. Let's go ahead and throw up our sponsorship screens. go ahead and pay the bills here. I wasn't for sure we were going to be able to do that today. But guys, go see Milano's at in Grand Saline. Milano's Pizza. They got the best chicken Alfredo with jalapeno. My family goes crazy for it. They've got fried chicken over there. Katie loves their honey biscuits over there. So, like I said, a whole bunch of food. If you're here for lunch, they have a lunch buffet. You can eat until you're bursting at the seams. Go ahead.
You guys want to go there for lunch?
I tell you what, it's hard not to, except for I'm headed that direction.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I've got dadgummit, my phone over here. That is not the special for Katie. Do you have your phone on you? I just chucked my water off in go to tracks. She sent it to me, and I did not. We've been going crazy the past couple of days. Let me see if I've got it, if it's linked up here before I say anything. Okay, here we go. Today is going to be the Magic Meatloaf special. You spoke, we listened. The Magic Meatloaf. So it is the Two Salty Broads. They are out there at 100 North Main Street. It looks like you're going to get a couple sides, a roll, and a drink, $14.99. So y'all be sure and go check them out. It is, as my wife always says, it is it's like eating over somebody's house, not eating out. And I'll share that to Corbin here in a second. All right, roll on. There you go, Tracks General Store. Now, we got August 8th. We're going to have a live booth out there at the East Texas Heroes Convention. There's going to be a car show, a military show, a swap meet, anything and everything that you could even think about military-wise, and a whole bunch of heroes. So we're going to have a booth out there. We're going to be live broadcasting. We're going to have an empty seat. So if you want to come out, sit with us. We're hoping to get a whole lot of these East Texas heroes to come out, share some of their stories straight out of their mouths, and you can live the life they lived and earn the respect needs to be there. James is one of them that served our country. We appreciate you for doing so and us getting the freedom. Let me verify. You did not serve the country, right? All right. I want to make sure that I did not, because I definitely don't want that purple-haired feminist out there coming after me for not.
Public school teaching is sometimes
I'll
pretty big
tell you
service.
Thank you for that.
I would say thank you for that, exactly, because you can't have good soldiers without good school teachers. So thank you very much for that. So anyway, you guys come out. It's a free event. Y'all come out there and enjoy that with us. Go ahead, Corbin. We got Sherman Floor Care and VZ Equipment Rental. Guys, if you mention that you saw it on VZ TV, you get 20% off at Sherman Floor Care. You get 15% off at VZ Equipment Rental. And as I tell everybody, depending on the size of equipment you rent in a couple days, that 15% can add up. So you guys be sure to go see old Julio over there at VZ Equipment Rental. They're in Suite D. It's right at the end, at the T intersection of 64 and 17. If your brakes fail, you'll go right into their open bay right over there. When you see Julio, they're in Suite D, but if you call him Suite D, he'll probably blush and give you a little bit better discount. Go see him today. Also, we got the Sonic Big Meal Deal. No, $7, you ain't going to beat it. Y'all go see them there in Grand Saline. And be sure and tell them that VZ TV sent you. They said that this $7 Big Meal Deal wasn't moving as good as they wanted it to. So y'all go be sure, Flood will make sure that they know that it's working over here. And we got coming soon, VZ TV Golf. We're going to have a simulated golfing tour. And it is going to be over at Eagles Nest. Mr. James Cooley swung in over there the other day while we were over there with Coach Hass, and he's going to be a part of the show. Yeah. And we were talking about all the logistics. It's going to be starting September 6th is what I think we got. We're not for sure on the exact time, but it's going to be a 6-week season of simulated golf, and they're going to be playing the courses of whichever one I think will be Pebble Beach, all the different top rig courses
in a scramble format.
Yeah, and they're going to be best ball. Yeah, it's going to be and for our first one. The first one's going to be coaches versus players. Yeah, we've got Coach Chastain, Coach Hass from Grand Saline, and he's got a handful of his players that are going to be playing. It's going to be best ball between them all. So we're going to have a best personal best. An individual, we're going to have a team best, and then we're going to have a couple other little honorary things. So anyway, that's something that's coming up soon. We're hashing it out. I want to thank Coach Hass and Ryan Walker over at Eagles Nest for being a part of this, allowing us to do all this.
Man.
Yeah, good man. He said over there. And so that is going to be coming in September. Next season, where we're hoping to go with this, next season you got to have an 8 or better handicap to even be on the tour. And then it's going to be 6 courses, 6 weeks. This first one is going to be 3 courses, and they're going to play stage, so that way these kids don't get wore out before their season starts. And what coach is using it for is giving them a little bit of practice before
It's cool to go hit golf balls in the air conditioning.
It really
too.
is, and this was inspired off that Live Golf Tour on TV. I was watching it, and I said, "Holy cow, this is sort of neat." And this was over here. Ryan's got an awesome establishment over there. It's really cool, really cozy. If you want to be a member, go over there, sign up. 24-hour access. Go in there and play golf at midnight. If you want, if the wife is snoring too bad, put on your golf shoes, go over there, and you just go play around at Pebble Beach.
Yeah, who wants a gym membership when you can go hit golf balls?
Exactly. You don't have to, and you don't get the tan. You don't get the ankle sock tan. So there you go. So anyway, that's coming soon, guys. And also tonight we have Stuart Fillmore. He is a 29-year retired FBI agent. He has looked into the JFK assassination, said that he looked at it with fresh eyes, said it got on his desk. He looked at it like he would have a cold case back in the day. He says that the ballistics and the science don't add up. So tonight, y'all get to watch us go toe-to-toe as we sit there and listen to some good old JFK assassination talk, and that's just going to go on as long as we want it to go on. We're not – when you have a man with that kind of credentials, that is the largest credential to sit in that seat tonight. So I
want to listen to that guy talk for a while.
This is going to be a very, very cool one. And what's really cool – this man is cool enough as it is, but it even gets cooler. Him and Todd Hiles he is an ex-Secret Service agent, and they travel around the country, and they do the Texas Crime Travelers podcast. If you see this poster, I put it up on Facebook. Yeah. It's got a little bit of his bio down there, but they go and they look at other stories. He's been on Expedition Unknown on Discovery Channel. He's looked into Bonnie and Clyde. I mean, this guy, he's legit. And so today, I'm just going to probably sit here and nerd out the whole time we're having this conversation, but I'm going to try to keep my composure. All right, stay cool. But anyway, we got Stuart Fillmore coming on tonight, so I'm looking forward to that.
I want to know if it was Mossad.
Well, he said he's not. He said we're not going to be exactly talking about
The
who did
perpetrators,
it, who
yeah,
did
yeah.
it, but we are. I'm pretty sure we're going to bring up the second gunman, man. I know there's. I think there's going to be more than one gunman involved,
yeah.
and so guys, also. If you want to support this show, and as you can ask these two guys, the value of VZTV in a forum like this is not for me. And you can ask these guys, that's not my vision. I have never come across as this is something that I'm doing. Now, don't get me wrong. I would like to eat a pork chop every now and then. So I'm not going to say that I wouldn't like to put a little bit of money in my pocket. Plus, my wife's getting mad because the Amazon guy don't come up. So I need to have a strange man visiting my door at least once or twice a month so my wife can be happy. So I'm not going to say that it's not going to be, but we're doing this for you guys. We're doing this so when y'all go to the polls, like I said, I want you to know who these two are. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, whoever you cast your vote for, you know why you're doing it because you feel it in your core. And I believe both of them will say that's the only way they want you to vote for them is if you know it down in your core who they are. Also, I want to say y'all go check out Roma's. They are a new advertiser. We didn't get the ability to get them in the graphics today, but Roma's over in Grand Saline. If you're headed towards Mineola, right across from the Valero Exxon, whatever it is down there, Roma's Italian, man, it is good food, dude. And I mean, if you love Italian food,
Yeah, I've heard that they're really
if you like
good.
anything, I mean, and it is good stuff. So we'll be sharing their menu and stuff in upcoming shows. But anyway, if you see, there's Keenan right there, a regular guest on the show. I sent him a text the other day and said that it's about time for him to come back on the show. I think, James, you're going to be coming on with him next time. I think he's supposed to be reaching out to you.
Yeah, I'd visit with Keenan anytime.
Yeah,
I think he's a fellow brother in arms. I mean, different service branches,
Yeah.
but he's an American. The
Yeah.
guy loves this country.
He does love this country, and even though his vision for how we get to where we call it a happy place may be a little bit different than ours, I promise you this, the love and passion is no different. And he comes in here and he talks to us. He takes a beating. I mean, he sat on the couch with Ryan Key. Orion is not – he doesn't wear soft gloves. So Ryan went after him, and he stood his own. We appreciate that. And we've got John Ring was supposed to be on today. What made us a little bit slow for the start was we lost connection with him. I guess that's probably about the time the internet crashed. And so he's going to come on tomorrow, talk Wood County Now and other veteran affairs type stuff. And Christina from the mountain. Christina Martinez from the mountain is supposed to be coming on tomorrow. We're going to discuss what's going on there because it's really big in the topic realm of Facebook. I'm sorry, I do want to Corbin throw up Paco up there. Oh, you didn't have it on hand? Okay, never mind. K9 officer Paco went to the big dog park in the sky. He served Grand Saline for many years. And as I've told everybody, I've got a buddy of mine that works for GSPD, Dry Creek Ag Services. You see him right there. He slapped them silver bracelets on me one time back in my rowdier days. And me and Paco had a conversation all the way to Canton. And Paco was a talker. So let's just put it this way. I remember my time with you, Paco. Thank you for your service to Van Zandt County and Grand Saline PD and all these years. And thank you, Mac Chandler, for giving Paco his final resting place. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for supporting VZTV. Anyway, guys, we had some more stories. We'll get to those tomorrow. One of them, Gamecock fighting. Evidently, there was a big arrest. Those charges were dropped. And it has got a bunch of people talking. And, of course, we're going to discuss a little bit more about, the ASPCA is being hit pretty hard, being brutalized online pretty hard, and then something like this happens. And I believe we have to talk about it. So we'll see who we get to join us tomorrow and jump into that rabbit hole. And but thank you guys for being on the show today. Thank you, Katie, for sitting over there and beautifying the set.
You're welcome.
And we want to thank you, too, for being on here, being a part of the show again, as always. And I can't wait till we get on there next time. And best luck to either one of you. And I know that whichever one of you gets the tip of the hat, Van Zandt County's in good shape because we got caring people that are running the county. So thank you both. And I guess we'll see y'all tonight at 7 o'clock on VZTV, baby.